Hello again, Melissa. How are you?
I'm great. It's very good to see you again, Ross.
Yeah, great to see you, and thanks so much for your work previously with the Core Harmonizer, and now we're going to be talking about the Signal Harmonizer,
Great.
which I have behind me here. So it'll be fun to go over the results of that with you.
Yeah. I'm very happy to. They're very interesting how they're a little bit different from the Core Harmonizer, and yet still quite a profound change. So I'm very interested to talk about it.
That's great. Before we get started, maybe you could share a little about your background.
Well, sure. As I shared in the other video, I am a psychotherapist for the past 25 years, but I've been working with the gas discharge visualization camera, known as the GDV, for about 8 years, I believe. And so it's been quite an interesting addition to my private practice and to my life in general. I started using it because I saw Dr. Krakow, the person who invented the GDV camera. It's a digitalized Kirlian camera. I saw him at a Dr. Joe Dispenza event and thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have that camera? Wouldn't it be fun to be able to, use it in my work as a psychotherapist or use it with other people, to show before and after kind of healing, what works, what doesn't. And before I knew it, I had my own camera, and I've been testing. I think I was at 19 advanced events with Dr. Dispenza, but I think 17 of them I took GDV images for him. Both of his participants, literally of their fingertips, to show them before and after his meditation practice, to show how it worked. And I also took the energy of the space, the event space, and would present that at the end of each event, what kind of energy the people created. And it was remarkable. Some of the findings of those 17, I think there's 17 events, are in the book Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And so you worked with him for about 5 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, 5 years. 5 years, and traveled the world, took images in Australia, in Germany, Italy, Florida, Denver.
Wow. And some big events too, I remember you had said.
In Germany, the last event I was at had 1,500 people at it. So
oh, wow.
Very large for, that kind of event, very large.
Yeah.
It was great.
Wow.
Great fun to meet so many like-minded people, and great fun to see those parts of the world that I might not have gotten to see. So
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Great. Well, thank you for sharing, and let's dive right into the Signal Harmonizer.
Sure. So I have a little slideshow. Let me share my screen. So this is the GDV Pro. This is the camera that I use. This is a picture of the camera. This is a professional grade camera. It's a very high-end camera, used only in, I believe, in the medical field in Europe and in Russia. This is a certified medical device, and so it's a very nice camera. It also measures water, rocks, coins. I can measure. This particular camera has the capability of measuring many things besides fingers and area energy in a room. So yeah. So let's see. The next image I have is of Sputnik. Dr. Krakow named this antenna Sputnik, which seems like a nice Russian name, right?
Yeah.
So this is really only 4 inches tall. This is a deceptive image, but it's a great image because it shows how many of the little spikies are coming off of it, and it's gathering the data from the area of a room or an event space or anywhere. Yoga studios. I've tested all kinds of different places, and so this is attached to the camera and to a test object. And the test object is made of titanium. It's placed on the glass, and then an image is taken every 10 seconds. For our testing, we did every 10 seconds. And basically what's happening is on this piece of glass, there sits a test object. And under the test object, there is 10 millivolts or 11 millivolts of electricity being administered at the exact same moment a photograph is being taken. And that gives us this image. That electricity illuminates the photon cloud around either a fingertip or the test object. And this is what this little blue ring, this corona, is what's evaluated. The quality of the area of the blue, the quality of how much orange or noise or chaos. This would be where the entropy is. And so when we're looking at the quality, we want to know how much of this very bright blue, maybe a little of this medium color blue. So those are the different ways we're going to look at this energy. So the first way is entropy. Entropy is chaos. Entropy is the kind of noise, like the things that we don't see, we can't see or hear, but that are kind of in our area, just at play all the time. So this is like the electric that's coming out of the outlets, what the microwave oven is putting off, what our stove is putting out besides heat. It's the electronics predominantly and electricity. So basically what we see in this image is we measured the entropy in a baseline, and then we measured the entropy when the signal harmonizer was on. And so the signal harmonizer reduced the entropy pretty substantially. I would say a full half of a point, which is very statistically significant. It's quite a distance for entropy. Entropy usually doesn't go very far because there's always something coming out of our electric outlets. So I have to say that in all the tests I've done for other people, Dr. Joe included, I often wouldn't talk about entropy because it's often higher or the same as without a device or without an intervention. And so it's meaningful that the entropy has dropped so significantly. It's a very positive result of this test, that the signal harmonizer reduced entropy. It reduced the chaos that's going on in an everyday environment. This particular test was taken in my home while I was present, doing what I do in my home. So I was having a normal day, which meant that I was on the computer. I was probably on my cell phone some of the time. I was maybe ran a load of laundry. There were some things going on because this particular device, from what I understand, is to be used when you're just having your normal life.
Exactly.
So that's how I replicated that in the testing. So another way of looking at entropy is with these dots. So the dots, these are called plots, actually. I like to call things dots. The plots are actually an image of every capture that was taken. So every 10 seconds, a capture was taken for a period of time. And this shows you exactly where the energy was going, up and down. And it's very common. It always moves up and down in some way. And then you can see that it dropped pretty substantially. It's pretty good distance. So that's remarkable. It's the same data as this image. It's the same data. It's just another way to look at it. Same parameter, two ways of looking at it. So the next parameter is area. And again, we have the area increased. This is substantial. The energy in the home increased. And you can see this is quite a jump. I think it's, we've got 1,300 pixels to 13,000 pixels to 14,000 pixels. So that's a fair jump in the amount of energy in that area. Is, again, just to remind you, it's everything in that round image. And so there was a big jump while the signal harmonizer was on, which is also very nice for for a space, especially given the next image. So this was the area, and here's the total intensity. I know in my video that I made about the core harmonizer, I spoke about the relationship between the area and the total intensity. If they're going in the same direction, either they're both going down or they're both going up, we're in good shape. That means that a positive effect has been introduced to the place that we're testing. And in this case, the area and the total intensity have both gone up almost to the point where I can't tell the difference between the two slides. But if you look at the little details, forget the title, the heading, but they're very similar. And again, that's not always the way, that's not often what I see. Sometimes what I see is that the area will go up and the total intensity will go down, or vice versa. And that means that there is more chaos, right? If the area goes up but the intensity goes down, it's like more orange, so there's more pixels in that ring, but it's not healthy energy, right? So the area looks bigger, but if there's the total intensity is just measuring the blue. So we want that, that's in very good shape. So again, that our test results showed very nicely that the signal harmonizer is definitely affecting the household energy. And especially because the energy of the entropy is being reduced, I'd say this is a very, very sweet little product to have in your house.
That's great. And these are tests that you had done a number of times, so they're all repeatable tests too, in different spaces and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe in my report I only published 2 of the tests. The 2 repeatable. There were many repeatable tests, but it just gets redundant to see. We took, I want to say there might have been 6 tests of the signal harmonizer over a number of days. I got to have it for a month, so I got to play on different phases of the moon and different, I just had a good time.
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing this information, Melissa. This is wonderful to see that, in fact, the signal harmonizer was doing what it was intended to do, which was to harmonize a space.
Mm-hmm.
So, great.
I'm always tickled when it turns out well,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great. Well, thank you so much. Great to see you again.
Great to see you too. It's always a pleasure to work with you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Take care, Melissa.
Bye-bye.
Bye.